Hey guys, welcome back to Level 6 Math. I'm Mr. C with Saxon Math Lesson 112. Today's lesson is a pretty short and easy one. It's just one concept, but it's an important concept. We're going to calculate the product and the quotient of two integers. We're going to look at positive and negative integers today. So we know when we multiply two positive numbers, the answer is positive. That's most of the problems we do. It's positive and a positive, right? When we have positive, or when we write plus 3 and plus 4, there's no plus or minus sign written. When it's positive, we don't have to write it. When it's negative, we do. When we have a positive and a negative, the product's going to be negative. So that means 3 times negative 4 means the negative 4 plus the negative 4 plus the negative 4. It's negative 4 3 times, right? So we can see this on a number line. If we go negative 4 plus another negative 4 plus another negative 4, it's going to give us a negative 112. And that might be really helpful for you to visualize, because a lot of students get hung up on this. When I do a positive times a negative, why does it end up negative? Well, this is why three versions of negative 4, if we put those together, it's going to keep going negative. So this totally makes sense, and hopefully this helps you to visualize it. We can write the problem this way: 3 plus 3 times negative 4, and really we normally just do 3 times negative 4 equals negative 12. Positive 3 times negative 4 equals negative 12. Now here are some of the rules. A positive times a negative equals a negative, okay? You need to remember that. A positive times a negative equals a negative. When we multiply two negative numbers, the answer is actually positive, and this one's really tricky for some people. So 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times the opposite of 4 is the opposite of 12. So instead of thinking of it as a negative, think of it as the opposite of that number. That's going to be opposite. The opposite of 3 times the opposite of 4, a negative, and a negative, that's going to be the opposite of 12, is the opposite of the opposite of 12. This is confusing, right? It's positive 12. So a negative times a negative equals a positive. Really, it's going to be difficult for you to remember all these little things. The opposite of the opposite of the opposite is the opposite of the opposite, right? You're not going to remember all that stuff. Here's what you want to remember. Oh, this is just more of that. A positive times a positive is a positive. A positive times a negative is a negative. A negative times a negative is a positive. On the next slide, it's going to show you the easy stuff to remember. If we look at division, it's the same thing. Positive divided by a positive is positive. A negative divided by a positive is negative. And a positive divided by a negative is positive. So, if we look at these, we can summarize it these two ways. If there's two numbers in a multiplication or division problem, and they have the same sign, the answer is positive. This is what we wanted to get to. If it's the same sign, it's positive. The same is good. Different is bad. So if they have different signs, the answer is negative. So if they're both positive, it's going to be positive. If they're both negative, the same, it's also going to be positive. But if they're different, it's going to be negative. So same, good, different, bad. And here, good is positive, bad is negative. All right, hopefully that helps. So if we look through this, a positive and a positive, the answer is going to be positive, positive 32. If we look at B, a positive divided by a positive, 8 divided by 4, it's going to be positive, just positive 2. A positive divided or times a negative, so now they're different. So different would be negative. So negative 32 here. Here we've got a positive and a negative, different again, so it's going to be negative 2. Okay. E, a negative and a positive, they're different, so it doesn't matter the order as long as they're different. So negative times a positive is going to be a negative 32 again. Here a negative and a positive is going to be different. So that's going to be negative. Negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. So even though, see, these are different, the order or the positive or negative, well, all that matters is that it's different, and that will make it negative. If it's the same, it's positive. If we look at this, a negative and a negative, remember those are the same. They're both negative, so the answer is going to be positive, a positive 32. And here, negative and negative, it's going to be positive with a positive 2. A little tricky, but if you can remember, the same is positive and different is negative, then this is going to be a piece of cake. Okay? So that's it. Go ahead and get started on your homework. Good luck.